Well, hey.
What's that other lady's comment?
You know, she said she would be there. Oh, I'll be able to see where I'm going in a minute.
I don't think that's sent. I'm just worried it closed that.
I don't think it closed. I think because it's just come up. What would happen if we had a party and nobody came?
Be a short party.
Yeah. There we go. Oh, I can see now. Right. Well, while we're waiting for that to start, I'm going to have one of these. I haven't had a beer since we were in Tunisia.
I bought them the other day in Aldi's. They're quite nice, actually. Is anybody there?
There's nobody there. Let's have a look on the phone.
Who's the one person watching? Can you tell us your name?
It's probably us.
Two persons.
That's this one, I think.
Well, basically, we were doing this live stream just because we are heading back to Tunisia in a week or two, back to our boat.
Yeah, so we had some questions, and I don't know if you can all hear me, but in order to make comments or to watch the chat, you need to reduce the window size down, which is down here in this corner. There's a little cross. You hit that cross, you'll then see the live chat. So we had a couple of questions. We had our Patreon live stream on Friday, and we haven't done one of those for about
a long while.
4 years, I think.
Yeah.
5 years. And we haven't done a live stream on the channel for
probably as long.
Yeah, I think our Miramar was probably the last one we did. Oh no, we did some in Italy, a couple in Italy. So the first question that we had was, when are you going back? Well, we're flying out the country towards the end of April after the kids are on holiday. Oh, you disappeared then.
I know, I went down.
So yeah, we'll be flying back to Tunisia, non-stop flight straight from Gatwick. We're flying from this time, aren't we? So we'll get a train up to Gatwick from Havant near Portsmouth, and fly across to Tunisia. We get about 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
It takes about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour to drive from the airport to Monastir, and when we get there, we've got about an hour's work to liven the boat back up again, because everything's been disconnected. Water tanks are emptied, the batteries are disconnected, the electricity's not on, all those kind of things. So it will take about an hour. I suspect that I'll reconnect the batteries and and we'll just hit the hay, to be honest, because we'll have been at it. Might be a gold watch.
No, it's hay fever.
So yeah, we've had a that was the first question we got, and the second question was, where are we going? And the answer is we don't know. What we are in the UK at the moment, and this is not our real background, by the way.
I can put my hand through it.
So we don't know. Our daughter's got to have an upper operation. That's going to be sometime within the next 6 to 9 months. And so what we're probably going to do is buy another year in Tunisia, and keep the boat there, and probably keep us there. Cindy might fly back at some point, don't know. We will probably go out of Tunisia in the...
Hi, Cordelia.
Oh, hello, Cordelia. We'll probably Cindy will fly back at some time to here. We will probably go out of Tunisia, go across to Malta, and then which is about 30 hours, between 26 and 30 hours, depending on the weather. And then from Malta, we'll probably stay a couple of weeks, maybe months in Malta. We really like Malta. The anchorages are good, well protected, and it's free, which is one of my favourite words. And from there, we may whiz across to Sicily, because it's only 60 odd miles, and we can do 60 miles in about 9 or 10 hours in Impavidus.
So really nothing's set in stone at the moment until we know our daughter is up and running.
Cheers, again. Cordelia, by the way. This is my first beer since we left Tunisia, so I'm going to savour it.
Or guzzle it.
Or guzzle it. I've got my beer drinking pants on, you'll be glad to know. Yeah, so that's probably the plan. Maybe next year we will go from Tunisia to Malta to Sicily, and then up to the French and Italian islands, whose name always escapes me. I can't remember them now. Corsica,
yeah,
and
Sardinia.
So we've never been there.
But the last 2 years we've had to rush everywhere, mainly so I could get back for our daughter, and some other family stuff that's been going on. So this year we're determined not to rush anywhere.
No, and if you have to go back, we'll make sure
we're within range.
Yeah, we'll be within 2 days of Tunisia, 2.5 days of Tunisia, wherever
the Ionian Islands. Well done.
yeah. The Ionians are absolutely gorgeous. We've been there, and the Volcano Islands and Elba. All of that stuff never seems to be used by
when we were there last time. It was quite a rush because we were on our way to somewhere in Italy. I can't remember the name of it now.
Licata. We were on our way to Licata,
and we were running late in the season because we dawdled too long other places. And also it was like 6 years ago, so I'd like to go back and see if they've changed, how they've changed. I know they haven't moved.
Yeah. Well, the Volcano Islands have, haven't they, a little bit?
Yeah.
And of course we weren't allowed out of Gaeta in Italy until the 6th of June because they locked us down. And for some reason wouldn't let us go out of the port. And then when we did get permission to go out of the port, they wouldn't allow us to go out of the province. But once we were out of the port, we somehow managed to go out of the province. Yeah. And it was quite late in the season, but we did the Ionians, Elba.
But I mean, let's face it, the second COVID, I don't think anybody really knew what was going on province-wise, and especially the Italians. I mean,
no, he's well, and when we tried to book in,
they didn't know what to do with yachts, did they?
No. Really? When we tried to book in and book out of Italy, because we thought we might be going across to Turkey, the customs guy and the port authority told us quite literally in Syracuse, he said, you don't need to stamp out and I said, well, we're going outside the EU. And he said, you are Europeans. And we said, no, we're not. We've had Brexit. We're not Europeans. We need to stamp out. And he said,
I think they've cottoned on now, though.
yeah, they have cottoned on now. But he turned around and he said, listen, you don't need to stamp out. And anyway, I am in charge here. I make the rules. I don't care about the EU. And then, of course, when we actually diverted to Greece, and they were going to arrest
impound us,
impound us, and give us €6,000 fine because we hadn't stamped out.
But anyway, that was a long while ago, and I'm sure it's all changed now.
I'm sure it has.
Yeah.
I'm sure it has. So yeah, we don't know what's happening. Is the answer? We simply don't know.
No. I mean, we are looking forward to getting back to the boat, but there's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean,
like when you went back to your boat, Cordelia.
Yeah, and they've got a big refit coming up as well. So, it's James C. Hi, James. All the best for your daughter. Keep the batteries in the yacht.
Do you keep batteries in the yacht or fully charged elsewhere? They were fully charged when we left, but they are all disconnected.
Yeah,
completely disconnected. No solar or anything.
No, nothing. So
we will see. We'll let you know. Might go back and they're completely flat.
Yeah, lithium has a very low self-discharge rate, very, very low, and they were at 100% when we left. So I'm expecting them to be probably at 95% or something, 90% by the time we get back.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. The other batteries we have, so we have the rest of the batteries on the boat are AGM. So we have an AGM starter battery that was brand new last season. Sorry, season before last. That was fully charged 100% when we left. It was then disconnected. It's sitting in the bottom of the boat, just in front of our engine, so it keeps fairly warm. You don't get those cold discharge problems that you get. That's disconnected. I'm expecting that to be at least 60%. Our bow thruster battery, which is an AGM, that was fully charged. That's about 3-4 years old. That was fully charged before we left and disconnected. So I'm hoping that will be at 60-70%.
I'll be surprised if there aren't any problems. I mean,
no,
the boat's been on its own.
Well, the
for 5
problem
months.
I am expecting with batteries is our buffer battery. So we have a small, I think it's a 55 amp hour AGM, which is fed from our battery splitter, and that then feeds our two battery to battery chargers. So we've got two Victron Blue Monster 30 amp yeah.
Oh, no idea.
Yeah, 30 amp.
That's a blue job.
B2Bs. They run in parallel. So we have, in theory, we have 60 amp charging. And that battery, when I left, I charged it to 100%. And then 2 weeks after I charged it, I tested it again. And it was at about 12.4, 12.3. So it's obviously self-discharging. And that battery is
7 years old.
7 years old. So it's at the end of its life. And I'm expecting it to be very, very low, probably 10 or 20%. So battery voltage down below 11 volts. And as I always say, battery voltage is not a good indicator as to how much power you got, but that's the one I think that's going to be a problem, if any are a problem, because it's old, and even though it's disconnected, it just hasn't got the guts that it used to have. So yeah. So that's it, James. That's what we do with our batteries now.
Well, this is the first time we've ever left Impavidus for more than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we've been gone almost 5 months now.
Yeah.
So we don't really know what to expect when we go back.
No. Well,
we know she's in one piece because we've got friends looking after her.
Yeah. Some of you may remember Mr. Oka from.
We met him in Finicay about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
He is Turkish.
Him and his wife,
I cannot remember her name.
Mercies,
remember.
that lovely couple, and he's a few boats down from us. Also, our neighbour has been keeping an eye on the boat, and Steve from Apollo, and of course our friends from Elizabeth,
Tina and
Pete have been up looking at the boat. She's got 6 lines on her. She's off the dock about 1.5 meters,
which is going to be a challenge to get back on.
Yeah. I'm expecting her to be covered in red dust, because when we were in Tunisia before, everything gets covered in red dust. That's the way it is. The Sahara moves. And it takes an awful long time for it to come off your boat. So I'm expecting to have the jet wash out the day after we arrive and jet wash the decks down.
We actually took the sails off before we left, because we had to have a repair done on the Genoa, didn't we?
On Genoa,
the running strip,
UV strip. UV strip.
Yeah.
And
they are still with the sailmaker.
Yeah. Breaking news: we have a new mainsail,
which is also with the sailmaker.
Yeah, and we've paid for that. No free sails for us. So we know of the sailmaker. We've seen his work. Has a fantastic reputation. We went and saw some of our Kiwi friends that have had some a new suite of sails made, including some coloured sails, and he said that the sails are very, very good and good quality. And we've looked at some of his other work that he did on a couple of other boats, and if it's all to that standard, I'll be very happy.
Yeah.
They are not cheap. The new mainsails cost us £2,000, which is about half the price it would have cost us in the UK, I think. But then we'd have had to have shipped it out there,
which is a nightmare, shipping anything to Tunisia.
And then, of course, if there's any modifications or alterations that need to be done to the sail, because I'm quite particular about things, we would have to have sent it back, or they would have had to send someone out. Whereas with the people that we're using, it's all included. So yeah, we're looking forward to having a new mainsail.
Yeah. Cordelia said, what are the prices like in Tunisia? The prices in Tunisia are a lot cheaper than in Europe. But there is sometimes a little bit of an issue with the quality and the standards.
Yeah.
But we sussed that one out a couple of years ago when we were over there. So we've taken the stuff that we know will be substandard over there with us.
Cordelia knows the people that we were out there with, because we were out there with Ryan and Brittany. On Sailing Sunday. So we were out there. In fact, the canopy that they've got on Sunday is the one that we bought across from Italy.
Well, we took the frame, didn't we? And they had the canopy made in Tunisia.
Yeah. And the canvas guy that they used is very good. Very good. But UV thread is a problem for them. So you have to stipulate you want UV thread. This is on canvas work. You have to stipulate you want UV thread, and I would suggest that you go and check what thread it is he's using before you have the work done, and you set aside some cones of thread for your job. Let's move that. That's
background didn't move.
No.
We're actually sitting in our camper van because our grandson's just come home and he's running amok indoors.
Yeah. So
which is not the right background that you can see there.
Yeah, well, it looks like we're Harry Pottering underneath the stairs, doesn't it? Under spiral stairs. And a great view out the window. If I move that way, you can see out the window. That's not real.
It's not real.
It's not real. The marina prices. Okay, so let's give you a comparison. Port Solent, which was our old marina, is
our UK berth.
Our UK berth when we were here. We were at Port Solent. We were at Wicker. Of course, they know all these. Wicker. And we were at
Southsea.
Southsea. We were at Southsea for 17 years. and we were at Wicker for 2 years, and then we went back to Port Solent, first in a private berth, and then in a one of their, what are they called? I can't remember the name of the marina conglomerate that owns
Premier.
Yeah. And then in Premier berth. So when we left, the Premier berth cost us £6,500 a year for a 37-foot boat, and we're a touch over 37, but I've got an elastic tape measure. We paid in Finike in Turkey the first year £2,300 for a year. That included water and electric, and that was very reasonable. The second year cost us, I think it was 2,600 of free water and electric, and we paid for a lift, didn't we? It was about €300. The Turkish actually all work in euros now, so because it's a fairly stable currency. When we left Finike, we left because they wanted €6,700.
And Turkish prices have just gone sky high since then.
We then went to Mersin. Mersin cost us €2,600 for a year, no lift out. I wouldn't recommend Mersin unless you're going to leave your boat there and come home.
It's very safe marina.
Safe marina, very well protected, but the nightclub, it's an open air nightclub, like an amphitheatre, and they've got a canvas roof on it, and they start practicing sound levels about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then it usually finishes boom 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 music about 2 o'clock in the morning. That's 4 nights a week, and it's so loud. Our boat was vibrating with the bass. The boat, you could actually stand outside the boat and see the little ripples from the vibration. This year in Tunisia, wait for it, drum roll, we paid €1,300 for 11.3 meters for 1 year, and that includes all electricity and all water.
But they are fully booked for this year.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Yeah. I understand they're probably very, very busy next year. So although it is cheap, you have to remember Tunisia is North Africa. And if you've never been to Africa, you may find Tunisia a bit of a culture shock. How can I put it? It's nothing wrong, but it's a different culture.
Yeah.
And so don't go to Tunisia and start judging Tunisia by or English standards, British standards, because it's different. And I'll give you an example. If you walk up into the bazaar, or the market, it's an indoor market, meat and fruit and veg everywhere. The meat counter, for example, we've got birds in a cage hanging over the top of the meat.
They're in a cage.
But unfortunately, some of the stuff that was in the cage was on the meat. And then, of course, flies. There's no refrigeration there in the bazaar.
But they do have supermarkets.
Yeah.
And the supermarkets are comparable to the rest of Europe,
But as you go into the bazaar, the animal that they've killed, which is on the slab, the head is hanging outside the butcher's. But then when I was a kid, we used to go to the butcher's and there would be grouse and pheasants and rabbits hanging up outside. So,
Tom asks, where are we now? We are currently sitting in
the camper van
in the UK, but we are heading back to Tunisia to our boat in Impavidus in 2.5 weeks' time.
Yeah. So we're in Hampshire.
Yeah, Hampshire.
About halfway between Portsmouth and Southampton, and quite a long way inland. We're in the Meon Valley, and it's beautiful. We used to live in this area. We had a lovely house in the South Downs. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous agricultural area. It's lovely. And you've got Southampton and Portsmouth, who are football rivals, either side of us. So I mustn't say too much, because if my son's watching, he's a Pompey fan. Yeah, and they're always calling each other names. I'm sure Steve knows about that.
Has anybody got any more questions? Excuse me.
Beer. How much is a beer? That's the important.
In Tunisia, they're very, very cheap. I think they work out about £1.30 for a pint.
For a pint, yeah.
But if you buy European beer, i.e. Beck's, that's about £3 a pint.
£3 a pint.
Yeah.
Or American beer, Budweiser. It'll be even more expensive now.
Yeah,
Mr. Trump's had his way, I expect. But I don't think that...
I've never seen Budweiser over there.
Yeah, I have. It's a bit sweet for me.
Oh.
I'm sure Tunisia don't export an awful lot to America, so the imbalance in tariffs probably won't affect them. The other thing is, of course, Tunisia is a Muslim country, and there are only certain places which are licensed to sell alcohol. So about 3 of the restaurants in the marina, around the marina, are...
Most of them don't serve alcohol.
No.
But, you know. But again, it's a culture thing.
It's a culture thing, yeah.
You just get round it, you know.
Yeah.
Highly unlikely, Cordelia. Not in the next couple of years, anyway.
No.
We've got too much going on here.
Yeah, hello, my ears are flat. I look like Mr. Spock with that background.
We're vibrating.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of reasons. A lot of the people that we know, and some of those who aren't actually on YouTube, have gone there and said, yeah, it was great. It was an experience, but really expensive. They've had dogs as well. Like
I can't quite remember exactly where you are, Cordelia.
You were heading for the BVIs, weren't you? Like, we watched the other day, didn't we?
Yeah, I sort of watch it with one eye though, because I was watching something else.
Oh, right.
Sorry. Not that I don't find it interesting.
Yeah, there were no pants shots. No pants shots, so she wasn't interested. You know. Yeah, BVIs. Yeah, I thought it was BVIs. This is going to sound daft, but the other thing is mosquitoes. If I have a mosquito bite, it comes up like an egg on me. They really, really don't agree with me. And the other thing is medication. So I'm on warfarin and beta blockers because I've got a artificial heart valve, and I'm in the Big Zipper Club. And although those drugs are relatively easy to get, in fact, they're very easy to get in Turkey, Cyprus, Tunisia, and most of Europe, and reasonably cheap. We don't know what they would cost out there. In fact, they're so easy to get that we're glad to be going back, because even though we're registered with a doctor here, getting an appointment takes 3 weeks at our doctor. I've just had a problem with that. And getting our drugs, they won't give us more than a week without special permission without special permission, will they, of drugs?
I may have got 3 months out of them this time, but we'll see.
Yeah.
James has asked, what's the furthest one country you've travelled to in the yacht?
Furthest.
And about other African countries. No, I think Tunisia is the furthest we've been.
Tunisia's the furthest south.
Yeah.
The furthest.
I can't remember if it was south or not.
East is eastern Turkey to Mersin. Mersin is 40-50 kilometers from the Syrian border, and it's very Arabic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although it looks like a modern town in any European country, it's there's absolutely no doubt when you walk down the street that it's a Muslim country, and that a lot of the women have their heads covered.
But then a lot of them don't, because the younger
generation don't so much, do they?
Some of them, you didn't think they had anything on other than a wide belt.
No, no.
They're lucky they can get away.
Well, we were there when they had the Turkish earthquakes. When we were on board the boat both times. The first one, we didn't really notice anything until all the sirens went off, and our phones came up with tsunami warning. And then the second one, we had our friend, our Austrian friend Arnie, aboard, and the whole boat shook in the water, literally. We got off the boat and went onto the quayside, and all of our neighbours were saying, "Yeah, it's another earthquake." The estimate was 50,000 people dead, and they were still, when we left Mersin, they were still pulling.
It was quite a sad time, actually.
Blocks of flats apart, and finding people inside them. It was, quite upsetting. There were people in the parks, the local park. They have a lot of parks and municipal spaces, don't they, in Turkey? And
for the people,
and they were full of tents with people who not only had been displaced because their houses were in piles, but the modern buildings as well were cracked and in danger of collapse, and so they wouldn't go back. And they had an issue. They pay a thing called earthquake tax in Turkey, and the tax is supposed to pay for people to inspect the buildings as they go up to make sure that they're being built to the standards. And unfortunately, that hadn't happened in a lot of places. Mersin wasn't so bad, but in other places, we saw video footage on Turkish television, and it looked like the rift in Africa. There was a piece of land, wasn't there? The main road had opened up, and there was a 200 meter, so 250 yard wide gap that looked bottomless. And this guy's house, his cars, his farm, all his machinery had just disappeared, and all he had left was a few hundred olive trees.
Anyway, on to happier notes. Tom said, "You want to pop over to Crete? It needs a bit of a hand." That's one place we never actually got there, did we?
No, we've not been, and we know people in Crete, so we know Etanche. So if you haven't watched those, they're on YouTube. A Dutch couple, lovely couple. They do. They're on YouTube as well.
Bye, Cordelia.
Bye, Cordelia. Take care.
To see you next year.
Yeah, look after my mate, won't you? The little one with 4 legs. I do love me dogs. Who else is out there? Oh, we know a couple of people that are out there, but we've never been. So that would be somewhere nice to go.
Maybe next year.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
It'd
just be good to get back out on the water. It's been lovely having land time. Lovely seeing the family, because we hadn't seen them very much over the last 8 years because of obviously COVID, lockdown, and then there wasn't a reason other than to visit to come back for more than 2 weeks at a time.
No, and even now, we've still got people that we want to go and see.
We're running out of time.
And we're running out of time. Norman, if you want to go and have a Guinness at the Farmers, which used to be our local, Norman's one of our subscribers. If you're watching, Norman, get in touch with me. You know my name. It's my name @hotmail.com. Just email me and we'll set something up. So, because we keep saying we're going to go and have a Guinness together, and we're Norman's an engineer. He's retired now, and he's also a biker, and I used to be a biker. Somebody asked me the other day what bikes I had. But yeah, so Norman, if you're watching, you're listening, get down in the what was it calls it? I've doobly do the comments and drop something in there or email me, and we'll go and have a pint of Guinness. But yeah, we still have got people. In fact, we've got some Patreons that we were hoping to see. They're not that far from us, and we were hoping to get up and see them. We're just not going to get the time. Just not going to get the time.
It's amazing how quickly the time has gone, really. So, you know.
It is, yeah. It's gone. 5 months has just flown past, literally flown past.
Mind you, for a month of that, we were sort of like locked indoors because it was so cold, and we weren't. we really didn't realise or remember how cold it got over here.
Pajamas on. It was that cold.
Anyway,
pajamas and slippers and a thick toweling. What do you call it? A dressing gown. Because it was that cold.
And then the last couple of weeks has been absolutely glorious.
It's been lovely. Yeah. We've been helping our daughter in the garden today on a front drive, levelling out the front drive and putting some plants in and this, that, and the other, so that it's more manageable for her when we go. Low maintenance.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been an incredibly quick 5 months, hasn't it?
So does anybody else want to say anything or any questions you want to ask? Because otherwise he'll waffle on all night. You know
I will, you know me. And if I get distracted, I'll go off at a tangent. You know, off it goes. Do you like the background, by the way? That's a lovely background.
It's horrible.
Is it?
Yeah.
And I think I can change it, actually. I don't know. I might be able to. I think I can change it. Let's have a look.
Well, don't start playing because you'll probably cut it off.
I'll cut us all off. There you go. That's our real background. But we can do others as well. Let's see. Has it changed it? No, it hasn't. But yeah, you. There you go. we now look like we're sitting in the atrium.
Or sitting in a swimming pool. Oh, that's weird. That is strange.
Electronic wizardry.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I had a house with an atrium like that, I'd have a much bigger boat first. In fact, I'd have a boat with an atrium like that if I could afford. Yeah. Hey ho. What was I going to say? There was something I was going to say about Tunisia. I can't remember.
It's very hot over there at the moment, apparently.
Yeah, very, very warm. They've had some quite strong winds in the Greek Isles, haven't they?
Which always has a knock-on effect, anyway. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's a funny place, the Med. You know, everybody will tell you it's either too much wind or not enough. But as soon as you get away from the Gulf of whatever it is in France, Gulf of Luron, or away from that bit of sea where it comes down from the north, so further east or further south, you don't get the Meltemi winds as bad. But what you do get,
the Mistral up there, isn't it?
I don't know if it's the Mistral was further over, but yeah, so you don't get the winds as much because it dissipates. But what you do get is you get this swell, long, almost Atlantic swell. Is it much sort of longer? Not quite an Atlantic swell because, you know, if any of you have sailed the Atlantic and then gone into the
Scirocco, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like the Atlantic swell where you get, you know, a 5 meter high swell and you don't even know you've gone over it. It's and the distance between the crests can be 10, 12, 14 seconds. They tend to be shorter and sharper in the Med. It's like a very big pond. But the further east and the further south that you go in the Med, the better it gets, the sailing gets. It's a shame that Tunisia don't like people sailing along their coast, because the sailing down there would be absolutely brilliant, you know.
I think you can sail from marina to marina, but you have to let them know before you go. You can't just go out for a day sailing.
No.
Because you have to check in and check out of the marina every time you move.
Don't forget your 5 dinars.
Even when we move the boat to go round to the boatyard, we have to check out of Tunisia, go 150 yards, and then check back into the boatyard.
Into the yard, yeah.
It is a strange situation there at times, and it costs you, what is it, £1? £1 5p each time you do it. I think
it was 5 dinar. Yeah. It may have gone up now. I can't remember what the dinar's running at. About 25 pence, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
At the moment, so it's a strange thing, but
that's the way their country works. Like I said, you have to accept their rules and their culture.
And work with it.
Yeah,
it really is a nice place to go. You know, I certainly recommend it as long as you can get over the culture shock and you don't expect, you know, British or American standards or European standards in an African country, then it's fine. You know, that it's different, but they're perfectly friendly. You can walk the streets without
get
fear.
Anything if you've got
the contacts
and the money.
you know,
do like a bit of a tip. They do.
Yeah, I don't mind a tip. But yeah, they've got a Carrefour French supermarket over there.
Yeah.
Not far from where we are. The next town up has got some big supermarkets, isn't it, where you can get stuff.
Hammermate, you can get anything.
Yeah. I mean, bacon, sausages, and pork chops you're not going to get easily because obviously it's a Muslim country. But you can get it. There are people that specialise in.
Yeah, you do pay for it though. It's very expensive.
But yeah, we've never had any issues. We were talking about this with the patrons, weren't we? We've only ever had a couple of minor issues, and they're you know, dodgy taxi drivers trying to charge you, you know, €10 instead of 10 dinar.
Yeah. Tom said you could also help me convince my wife to allow me to buy an ultra anchor. Oh yeah, you definitely need one of those. Anchors anywhere.
Yeah.
It's been the best thing we've ever bought.
It's like an earth magnet.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. If you're going to buy one, Tom, get it in Turkey. Obviously, if you're in England, don't sail your boat to Turkey to get an anchor and sail it back. But if you're in the Med, go to Turkey, buy it in Turkey. Go to Bodrum and go to a place called Ali's, just outside Bodrum. They have what's called a Blue Label Day, where
I think it was on a Tuesday.
I think it's a Tuesday, and it's 25% off everything. Now I don't know what the Turkish lira is running against the pound or the euro at the moment, but we saved ourselves about £1,000 on our setup. So we bought the ultra anchor and the flip swivel. The flip swivel is just brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can bring the anchor up at any angle. Doesn't matter if it's upside down, back to front, what have you. The flip swivel flips the anchor over, puts it in the right place.
Carp DM had trouble getting diesel when leaving Monastir. I must admit, when we were there before, we managed to persuade someone to fill our jerry cans up. So we actually filled the boat up like that, didn't they? But when we went into Monastir on the way in, we were put on the fuel dock to wait for customs, and we filled up then. So
we filled up, and then we had empty jerry cans. Yeah. And we got the marina staff to take their little boat over and fill up the 2 jerry cans. Yeah. So we've got a full tank and 40 litres. Yeah.
And obviously we give them a tip. As I say, if you tip the guys in Tunisia, they just do anything for you. Absolutely anything. So
yeah, cigarettes and whiskey and wild women is
not the wild
no,
women.
Not the wild women. Cigarettes and whiskey.
I don't think they're allowed to accept whiskey anymore.
I don't know.
But
we got him. I can't remember his name now, but he's the head.
I bought him cigarettes.
Yeah, you bought him a pack of cigarettes, didn't you? And he was, eternally grateful. They
are very helpful.
Very
helpful nation, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all like that. Everyone helps you. No issues with the place at all.
Yeah,
we really like it, and we love Turkey as well. We love Turkey. It's just the prices in Turkey. Well, they're more than UK prices, aren't they? They're more than being on the south coast in the UK. It's just gone stupid. We can't afford to be in Turkey. My pension doesn't allow for it. So,
we're hoping to get a few days away in the camper van before we head back to Tunisia, aren't we?
Yeah,
So
we are.
We might film that if you're really interested.
Yeah, I mean, it's a completely different thing in the van. It's still there's still the freedom of the open road and what have you. But we went and did a bit of a tour. We went to see my Uncle Mick. So Uncle Mick, if you're watching, we haven't forgotten you. We went to see my Uncle Mick. So we haven't seen him for a long while. We went to see our friends
in Wales.
Yeah. Dean and Linda, and they've got the boat TZ. It's Rob. Well, don't worry, Rob. We'll put it up, and I'll do a quick recap for you. Dean and Linda in Wales. Dean owns the boat TZ, who was with us
5 seasons.
Yeah, five seasons.
Yeah, 5 seasons.
So they feature in quite a lot of our videos. Then we went to see Peter and Anne
from Whitecap, and we've sailed with them for 3 seasons.
3 seasons. What? I think, are they back on Whitecap yet? No. And then from there we went to see my father down in near Eastbourne. And then where did we go? We were going to see David and Dee, but they had something else. He had to do his MOT, didn't he? So we then came back and saw a couple of friends on the way back from Eastbourne, and then we came back here, and then we've been out and seen a couple more friends at the time. But we've been just busy, haven't we? Yeah. It's so busy, and of course we've changed a lot on the van, and it's had new discs all round, new pads all round. It's had the fuel system drained and cleaned out, including the tank, all the lines blown out, new filters. It's just about to have, I've got them, they've arrived finally, new wishbones on the front, new ball joints, new swinging arm thingies, whatever they.
Boring.
Yeah.
It's not a boat.
No. And of course we changed it over to lithium and replaced all the batteries on it. And then I've just finished the day before yesterday doing all the rust treatment, so it looks really nice now. It looks tidy. Yeah.
So Rob, a quick recap is we're going back to Tunisia in 2.5 weeks, did I say?
Yeah, something like that.
About that. We've got some work to do on Impavidus, so we assume we'll be leaving by the end of May, and we're going to head to Malta. Then we're going to decide what we're going to do.
Yeah. So probably we'll go across to Sicily.
Yeah. We may go back to Greece. We're not sure yet. A lot of it depends on our daughter and stuff that's going on at home. So
yeah, and she's got to have another operation. The latest that the surgeon has said is that he won't operate for 6 to 9 months from now. So I know that surgeons are very well. It's not a surgeon; it's the anaesthetists. Don't like giving too many.
Plus she's not healthy enough.
Yeah, general anaesthetics do they in a year. So
any more questions?
So that was the plan, Rob. It may change, but we will definitely book ourselves in.
Thank you. Thanks, Rob.
We'll definitely book ourselves into Tunisia for the next season.
Well, assuming we can. I mean, they said that they were on if we're there as existing customers, they would honour the space. I mean, we're paid up till the end of October anyway, so can't see that they're going to.
God, it's going down well.
Refuse us.
Sorry, yeah, Rob, that's the first beer I've had since we left Tunisia. Oh, it's it's too expensive to drink in the UK. Yeah, so we'll definitely book ourselves in. I don't think there'll be a problem. We're already booked in, as Cindy said, for until October. And they said they would honour next year's. And the staff there are really good, I have to say. We think they're just about full up now. There's a few spaces left, but it was very, very busy this winter.
£8.80 for a pint of Peroni. Good Lord.
Good Lord. It's just, I don't know. It's one. There's a couple of things, Rob, that have really shocked us because we haven't been back in the UK for more than 2 weeks for 8 years. So the first thing is the state of the roads. They are unbelievable. I know I'm sounding like Victor Meldrew, you know. I can't believe it. The state of the roads, potholes. Oh my God, you know, and not just where we are out in the country, but A roads. You'll be going down an A road and there'll be a hole that you could lose a double-decker bus in. That was the first thing. The second thing is the price of stuff. It's not just gone up since we were last here, which was only 12 months.
April last year. 2 weeks.
Just 4 times, I would say, 4 times more expensive for so things. And the price of electricity and gas.
You got him started now.
How can they tell you that it's 30 pence or 25 to 30 pence per kilowatt hour here in the UK? And the reason for that is because the markets have changed. And yet everywhere we go in Europe, it's 11 pence per kilowatt hour. And they're buying it from the same market. Somebody's telling porkies. Anyway, that's my rant over. The cost of energy in the UK is just stupid. And of course, that makes everything else go up in price because you can't make, transport or fabricate or build anything without using energy. You know. Anyway,
I think we need to think about closing.
Yeah, we're getting towards that time, and of course we've got don't talk about campers.
Oh, do you want to go
Oh no, you're absolutely definitely better to have a boat, Tom,
with an ultra anchor.
Yeah.
And a camper van for when you
and you need at least 85 meters of 320i or 320L, sorry, stainless steel chains. No point in buying galvanized. You want stainless steel chain. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Well,
it was lovely to speak to you. We've been waffling on.
I can waffle.
You can waffle.
Yeah. I got O levels in waffling. Rob, 27 pence per kilowatt hour house are positively cheap. Hasler, yeah. To charge in a car at Shell, it's really
80 pence. Good Lord.
I knew that the cost on the motorways for charging cars was unreasonably high, but it's captured market, isn't it? What are you going to do? You know, you
now if you had an all power,
yeah. How can anyone charge 80 pence per kilowatt hour? Well, they do because they got away with it because you're captive, aren't you? You get down the motorway and it's 20 miles to the next junction and you've only got 7 miles left on the, you know, you're going to have mileage issues, aren't you? And they're going to fleece you because they can. But, I knew it's expensive. I saw something that the other day that it was one of the van life people, and he's got a charger lead that he can charge his lithium on his van up through a car charger. And he was paying, I think it was either at Tesco or Lidl's, and he was paying 47 pence per kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
But just how can you 80 pence a kilowatt hour? That's a lot. but hey ho, you know, what are you going to do? You're captive, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's well, Rob's paying less at Haslar Marina, that's the one where the lightship is, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He's paying less than my daughter pays peak for her house. So we might get a long lead and go and plug in there. We used to go to Haslar quite a lot, actually, because we were in well, I was the vice commodore of the Bavaria Owners Association years ago, and we used to have our annual general meeting at Haslar, because you can, I don't know if you can still, Rob will correct me if I'm wrong, but you used to be able to get a meal on there and rent a function room, and that's what we used to do for Bavaria Owners. We used to have a meal and a few pints. We used to try and sail over there if we could.
Yeah.
And have our function and our meeting, and then that was at Haslar. It's quite a nice place, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Well, that's almost an hour.
I know.
When I'm waffling on, it goes very
well.
quickly.
Thank you very much for watching, everybody.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Really helps us out. Everything's back to front. It's down there. There's a little like button, and it's a thumb like that. So give it a like, and please put something in the comments. That helps us as well. Helps with the algorithm. And subscribe as well. We are about 90 something short of 11,000 subscribers,
which is something we never ever even dreamt of achieving.
No.
You know,
yeah.
I say this all started just for the kids to watch and family
and the Bavaria Owners.
Friends, yeah.
And then our friend Bob said, you should put that on YouTube, which we did.
Yeah.
And
there you go.
There we go. And we wanted, for me, I wanted to give something back to the sailing community that would help them out. So I started doing the how-to videos, and then I did the boat electrical made easy videos, and they were quite successful, weren't they? Measuring success by the comments that we get. That was really, some of the comments we got were just lovely.
Yeah. Yep, hope to see you soon as well.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. As long as it's not £8 a pint.
No.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Okay then.
We will see you all soon. When we will next.
I don't know.
Don't know.
We don't know at the moment. We let you know. We don't know anything at the moment. But
once we get back, I promise there'll be more boat videos, because we've got one or two little jobs to do.
One or two.
Okay, folks. Well, thank you all.
Thank you for watching.
And thanks for subscribing and giving us the likes. And don't forget, comments below. We always read the comments, and we love reading the comments, even the bad ones. You know, you've got a different opinion to me, you're entitled to it. That's it. I don't care. Right. See you later, folks.
Bye.
Take care. Sail safe.
Bye.